I'm William Kumwembe, and this is Business Time on Times. It is a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country and, of course, beyond. And in the program today, civil society urged to play rightful role in development planning, and Malawi lags behind on e-commerce. We have these and other stories. Stay tuned if you could. Hello and welcome. In our main story in the program, the National Planning Commission says civil society organizations have a significant role to play in the crafting and implementation of the national development plans. NPC Director General Thomas Muntali was speaking in Lilongwe on Thursday during a national envisioning conference for civil society organizations. Muntali said civil society players live with the people and therefore understand challenges and successes of the people better. More in this report.
National Planning Commission Director General Thomas Muntali said civil society players work with the people on the ground, therefore understand challenges and successes of the people better. He said the Commission, which is currently in the process of coming up with a successor plan to Vision 2020, expects the civil society to play a critical role in ensuring that the new plan is effectively implemented.
Their role is very important because you know that civil society work a lot with the people on the grassroots. And if we're going to have a vision that is going to be reflective of what the people want, we need to hear what the people on the ground are saying. Because at the end of the day, this is going to be a people's vision. As a National Planning Commission, we're not going to be sitting in the offices and crafting a vision for the country. It is the people that have to tell us what the Malawi they want to see in 2063, in this case that we are proposing, and how do they want to see a typical Malawian to be looking like at that point in time. So the people that work closely with these people at the grassroots are the civil society institutions who are having this conference today, and we should really commend Kongoma for doing this. Actually, they took that initiative and then invited us to this. And I think if the other segments of society do that, we really are going to have a vision that is owned by all Malawians. Very important. It's part of the mindset change agenda. You know, the moment we begin to think positively in Malawi, that we can do it, we will gather energies and momentum that will make us to achieve quite a lot. I think you know pretty much just as I do that there are certain things that are working out there in agriculture, in education, in health, and so many other sectors. If we can begin to identify those things and then promote them to scale, and everybody rallies their efforts around them, we will put our efforts both in terms of human, financial, technical together, and we'll put this country on an accelerated train of development, accelerated path of development. So basically what we are saying is not that there will be certain things that are not working, but for us to focus more as a positive mindset on things that are working and begin to scale them up. So there were a number of things that came out from Vision 2020. I think it should be appreciated that there are certain things that worked, but there are also things that didn't work. Even when you're looking at the things that didn't work, for us to just know that this didn't work is a plus on our side, is an achievement, because when you know, it makes you to begin to know what solutions you need to put in place. And I think when we're crafting the new one, we've got a whole of lessons that we can take on board. For example, if you're looking at one of the challenges we had, we didn't set ourselves targets. We're not smart. And our vision, even though it was good, it was somehow not focused. It had all sorts of things in there. And I think this time we need to move on a more focused vision. And as I said, the consultations that we've had so far are pointing to us to have an inclusive wealth creation and self-reliant nation. And this has to be confirmed by Malawians. So when we're going to do consultations out there, when this gets explained, I think the Malawians would be best to tell us whether they think this is the best vision we should have, but we have to be more focused. And linked to this is the issue of accountability. I was just mentioning in there that it's quite exciting that the Office of the President and Cabinet has made it very clear now that sector working groups be revamped. And actually the Chief Secretary, with support of from the State President, has now deployed letters to all ministries, departments and agencies that it's a must to meet regularly, it's a must to provide quarterly reports. And I think this is an indication that there is now more emphasis and effort to getting things done, to get things to be implemented. So I think this is exciting, even as we are looking at the new vision, because we're taking lessons from what didn't work in Vision 20. So I think the issue now is a number of things that are happening. For example, the creation of the National Planning Commission itself is a plus, where the leadership of the country, including the parliament, had to create or to have it in place through an act of parliament. This is important because then you have an institutionalized setup where you are not just planning, but you're also following up on what is working, what is not working through implementation tracking. And I think that kind of setup, plus the multi-stakeholder approach that we're taking, for example, now with Kongoma, is very critical. At the end of the day, each one of us should be a leader of our own. We should not, I think, as Malawians, always be looking up to leaders for solutions. I think we need to begin to be thinking outside the box and suggesting the solutions. And in this regard, we are working closely with the civil society institutions, development partners, private sector, so that the voice is not just about National Planning Commission. The voice is about what the stakeholders and the people out there think would be best to do as Malawi. So we do believe that if we take that multi-stakeholder approach and more focus on things that are working for scaling up, we're getting somewhere.
Council for Non-Governmental Organizations Programs Manager Smegna Kaluzi described the meeting as crucial, saying it will help the civil society appreciate their role in the national planning process.
As civil society organizations, we believe that we have a very big role to play. And this is not the first time that Kongoma has been doing this process. So initially, we had to look at what CSOs can do to contribute towards the national vision process. And we know that we're also representing the communities at different levels. So we're acting as a bridge between the communities and the various stakeholders at the national level. So our view is that if you have views of the citizens from the communities, then those views are going to inform the national vision process. In that regard, it will be bottom-up approach rather than what has been happening in the past, where what is found in the national planning processes is what technocrats think. But in this way, we'll be bringing to the national level the views from the communities through the various SOs that are working in various communities. Civil society organizations are doing a lot of work. The first thing we do is directly implementing some of the programs. In this case, we can call ourselves service providers. We are in different sectors of development, and we ensure that all these efforts are coordinated as Kongoma. The other aspect that we look at is research, because we believe that research has to inform the next action that we want to do as a country. So we do a lot of research in various sectors of development just to ensure that we are able to bring the value that the other stakeholders at the national level cannot be able to bring. The other aspect that we also bring is monitoring of development initiatives, because we have the knowledge in terms of what is working and what is not working in the communities. So we're able to see what is workable and what is not working in as far as the implementation of various development programs is concerned.
Malawi is in October next year expected to launch a new long-term development vision which will run up to 2063.
An e-trade readiness assessment conducted by the United Nations Conference of Trade and Development has shown that policy framework gaps and low internet penetration are among challenges affecting e-commerce in the country. Chimwemwe Mangazi has the whole story in this report.
The assessment also shows that the country's economic development blueprint, Vision 2020, and the Malawi Growth and Development Strategy make limited reference to e-commerce with no standalone policy and strategies tackling digital economy. This came out during a validation workshop of the findings in Blantyre recently. It further highlights that there is no coherent governance framework to steer e-commerce development agenda and no formal dialogue with private sector and civil society organizations on the matter. On internet use, the assessment shows that the e-commerce market in Malawi is underdeveloped. The UN body has since recommended that the country drafts and approves a digital economy national policy and implement an e-commerce strategy. Spokesperson in the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Tourism, Maison Sokera, said there is need for collaboration and active engagement between government, the private sector and development partners to significantly address the identified gaps.
Well, the ministry, with technical support from the United Nations Conference of Trade and Development, UNCTAD, but also in collaboration with the MACRA and the e-government, conducted an assessment of the preparedness of Malawi to develop and implement e-commerce. So today we're actually conducting a validation workshop of that particular assessment. So our consultant actually presented a report on the findings, which has actually highlighted quite a number of issues ranging from the challenges that are there, the opportunities that are there, but also recommendations on what as government we need to do if we are to develop e-commerce in Malawi. So just to highlight a few in terms of challenges, the report has highlighted that as a country we still have high internet costs, but also our infrastructure is not that good in terms of supporting e-commerce, but also there is limited connectivity of internet amongst the majority Malawians. But in terms of recommendations, the report has actually recommended that we should come up with a national policy on e-commerce, but also we need to expand the mobile broadband infrastructure, but also we are supposed to strengthen the institutional cyber security and consumer protection. So these are just some of the issues that the report has highlighted. So as government, we will be working on this together with other key agencies like MACRA and e-government to make sure that the recommendations are implemented, because we believe that e-trade or e-commerce has got a lot of benefits to this country, because as you may know, the costs of trading will significantly reduce, because consumers will save a lot of travel time and cost, because you can actually visit the stores virtually online. Even the business people, the traders, can actually reduce most of their overhead costs, because they can supply their products by selling them online. And government as well, can make use of e-commerce to make sure that the compliance to some of the regulatory requirements is enforced, be it in terms of payment of taxes, but also even provision of essential social services. In education sector, you can actually offer programs online. So these are just examples of the benefits associated with e-commerce. So the government is committed to pursue the development of e-commerce in Malawi because of the associated benefits.
About 13.8% Malawians have access to the internet.
Before 2019 ends, businesses have started reviewing their performance, with others already rating it as a mixed bag. Our reporter Chimwemwe Mangazi engaged a number of business operators and now reports.
Listed hospitality firm Sunbed Tourism Limited and insurance company Vanguard Life Assurance separately described 2019 as a year with a fusion of challenges and opportunities. The two firms have cited business slowdown during a large part of the year as a major setback. In an interview, Sunbed Chief Executive Officer Yusuf Olera said the hospitality unit expects returns to decline this year because of reduced business.
The business environment has been very challenging this year for obvious reasons, but Sunbird has been very resilient, and we're looking forward to a better year next year. But this year has been very challenging in terms of the level of activities, and that has seen a lot of conferences probably being postponed for various reasons. So we've not been as busy as we anticipated to be. Yes, they did, of course, with the drop in terms of occupancy and the number of conferences that we are having. When you look at our performance this year, obviously it's going to be below last year and what we anticipated to achieve as well. I would, the fact that we are listed, there are certain information that I would not be able to share. But if you look at our half-year results this year, we could not even give the profit warning because the growth was below 20%. So that basically paint a picture of slightly not as a good year as we could have expected.
In a separate interview, Vanguard Life Managing Director Noah Mufurutsa said the year comprised fortunes and misfortunes for the business. The development further trickled down to small and medium enterprises. Thokozani Ngwira is Managing Director for Mzuzu-based Maoni Meat Products.
We are in the meat processing business, where we process meat, the meat into several products, like meat sausages, meat, and we do also process the beef. For us at Maona Meat and Meat Products, we are just new here in Mzuzu. We have just started it in October, but so far we have seen that we are winding up the year at a very good note. In my own view, I've noted that most Malawians are coming. They are coming to buy from fellow Malawians. Of course, I've noted that that mentality is still there, where they think that no Malawian can do such a business. Most of them, they think that this kind of business is only for maybe Indians. But with our shop, I've seen that most of the people now, they can believe in us Malawians that we can also do such kind of businesses. Yeah, the changes are there, especially in this business of ours, the meat product business. It sort of depends on electricity. So electricity is one of the challenges that we may come up, we may come along as we are doing the meat processing business. Apart from that, there are also other challenges like maybe capital. Sometimes you may find that there are certain buyers who want to buy from you in very large quantities, and you must have ready capital in order to supply to those people. I would like to encourage all the Malawians that they have to invest in their fellow Malawians, because nowadays I've noted that we Malawians, we are also trying our best. So my ways are that let us try to build our fellow Malawians.
Have been rating the year ending as tough for business in the aftermath of the disputed May 20 elections.
Remember, this is Business Time on Times, a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines. And my name is William Kumwembe. We'll be right back. As we proceed with the program, let us now have a look at how the Malawi kwacha is faring against major trading currencies on the foreign exchange market. Welcome back. Nico Pension and a subsidiary. Welcome back. Nico Pension, a subsidiary of Nico Life, has bemoaned lack of understanding of the Pensions Act as a stumbling block of the benefits of the Act. This was reviewed at a client engagement seminar organized by Nico Pension on Wednesday. Nico Pension General Manager Gerard Chima said despite the misunderstanding, savings in terms of pension has increased. Sharon Chira attended the seminar and now reports.
Nico Pension General Manager Gerald Chima says the Pension Act, which was enacted in 2011, has shown progress over the years.
Generally, it has performed well. There are some challenges here and there in terms of compliance. We still have employers that have not complied. We still have employers that don't pay contributions on time. But we also still have some good employers that have taken it upon themselves to comply. So we've seen growth in the pension assets. There's a lot more that is being saved for the retirement date.
Chima, however, bemoaned a lack of cooperation due to lack of understanding of the Act by both employers and employees.
We've seen a lot of gaps in terms of especially the process for managing pensions. The process, let's say for example, for paying claims and the information that perhaps members need to have as they are part and parcel of the pension fund. So what we've done is we've set up member information sessions. So we have a team that is available from Nico Pension that is ready to go out and meet members. So we just need employers to call us and arrange for the sessions, and then we'll go and do a presentation about all the issues around pension administration so that we eliminate the gaps.
The Reserve Bank is currently working on an amendment of the Act that will see even those that can voluntarily add to a pension scheme do so.
There are a number of things that are being addressed in the Act. For example, there's been an outcry from members, for them to be allowed to access the funds so that they can build a house or indeed, use the money even before they retire. So there's an amendment or proposed amendment that looks at allowing members to borrow from other institutions, but using the pension funds as collateral.
Joseph Mixon Nsomba of St. Charles Luanga Secondary School is a client of the pension scheme at Nico.
At St. Charles Luanga, we are servicing this pension scheme with all our workers, and with that I can say it has reduced the burden that the school used to have in terms of paying for the gratuity and other payments when one is leaving the institution. But now that responsibility has gone to Nico Life Insurance.
The seminar encouraged all employers and employees to get a better understanding of their pension, as it is to their benefit that they are under one.
Now, in other business news, FDH Bank says its Kodo Kodo promotion has helped boost customer base. Speaking during the November draw, one of the bank's senior managers, Morini Nalikungwi, said the bank is overwhelmed with customer response. Among other things, prospective customers are able to open accounts on their own using their mobile phones. Our reporter Mike Mataka caught up with Nalikungwi in this interview.
The response has so far been overwhelming. We've achieved our objective. As you are aware, this promotion was launched to increase our numbers of our full digital accounts. So far, the response has been very overwhelming, and we are extremely excited with the response that we've received. We've managed to recruit quite a lot of customers on our platform through this campaign. As you are aware, we are in this business to make money. So what it essentially means is that our numbers of accounts have grown, and ultimately, as a bank, we also make something out of the business that we've generated through the acquisition of new customers. And at the same time, we're also rewarding the existing customers who have referred new customers to our platform. Ufulu Digital Account brings convenience to our customers. This is an account that you open by dialing *525 on your phone, and you can open from anywhere. You don't have to walk into our banking halls. You can open this account from anywhere where you are, as long as you have got network on your phone. As I've already mentioned, this is a referral campaign whereby one existing customer is expected to refer 5 new customers to FDH Bank to open Ufulu Digital accounts. And if they are lucky, the one who has referred 5 customers will win a cell phone, an ITEL A16 phone. And the customers, the 5 customers that have been referred by these customers will get 5,000 kwacha each into their newly opened accounts. Ultimately, they also enjoy the services that customers get, that customers who have Ufulu Digital accounts get.
Well, with that story, we've also come to the end of today's edition of the program Business Time, right here on Times, a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. On behalf of the entire production team, my name is William Kumwembe. But always remember, if it doesn't make money, then it doesn't make sense. Goodbye for now.